Okay, so first thing I want to say is welcome to the call. We're in week 4, habit 4, which is breath body practices, which is really about exercising and getting our body moving and building up our energy through exercise. And just a reminder that all of our calls are recorded, so if you are listening to the recording later, feel free to listen to it at your own leisure. And if you're on the call live, we'll be taking some check-ins later in the call if you want to check in. So first thing I'm going to do is just do a little bit of a review and talk about a couple things that were touched upon in the last couple of lessons and get right into some topics regarding motivation, and then we'll get into habit 4. So one of the things that I really wanted to mention is in this program we don't really count on being motivated every day to do our exercise or to do our meditation. It's more of making small changes in our day to build our habits instead of trying to be really motivated to do this or to do that, because that really is hard for a lot of people, especially when they're making new changes to their routine. So just to review a little bit on the slides from BJ Fogg, he said that if you plant the right seed in the right spot, it will grow without further coaxing. I believe this is the best metaphor for creating habits. The right seed is the tiny behavior that you choose. The right spot is the sequencing, what it comes after. The coaxing part is amping up motivation, which I think has nothing to do with creating habits. In fact, focusing on motivation as the key to habits is exactly wrong. Let me be more explicit. If you pick the right small behavior and sequence it right, then you won't have to motivate yourself to have it grow. It will just happen naturally, like a good seed planted in a good spot. So that's what we're trying to do here. And from Zen habits, make it easy so you can't say no. Let me say that again. Make it so easy that you can't say no. We want to make these changes really, really easy and really make sense for each one of us. So again, we're not looking at motivation, we're looking at habits. And now that we're a few weeks in, we are on week 4, and we're going to get right into exercise in a few minutes. We're going to talk about opening up the body. We don't want to feel like any of these habits are rolling a boulder up a hill. We want it to be easy. So with our first habit, earlier, lighter dinner, think about what is the tiniest habit change that you did or that you're working on right now. Maybe you moved your dinner back by 15 minutes or 30 minutes. Maybe you switched to smaller plates. And are you maybe setting an alarm to remind yourself to eat at a certain time? All those little habits can make a big difference in someone's life. With our second habit, early to bed, what's the tiniest habit change that you made? Maybe you moved your bedtime back by 15 or 30 minutes. Maybe you massage your feet with oil now. Maybe you listen to a guided meditation before bed. So just one little habit. Maybe you're remembering to turn off your electronics an hour before bed. And with habit 3, start the day right. What is your tiny habit change? Are you now drinking a cup of water before you drink your tea or your coffee? Or are you drinking 2 cups of water? In this week with breath body practices, a couple of the things we can do to make some small changes in our routine, in our habits, is to set things up the night before. So for a lot of people, just setting up their workout clothes where they'll see them, putting their shoes right where they're going to see them, it makes it right. Puts it right in their face. So it makes it really hard not to remember to do the new behavior. So again, we don't want to expect ourselves to be highly motivated every day to do these changes. We don't want to set ourselves up for failure. So do the super easy thing that sets you up as fail-proof for every habit. We want to do baby steps to make changes. Make it so easy that you can't say no. It's not about motivation. It's all about the small changes sequenced in the right order for you. And in terms of the exercise that we're going to be talking about, remember that wherever you're at is okay, because we're all starting at different points. Everyone has struggled with this in one way or another, and we're all here to support each other, even with the subtle changes are just important as the big changes. The right trigger and the right sequence leads us to not having to motivate ourselves to create change. New habits can have multiple triggers. It's important that you get this so you can insert the right behavior at the right time to get the desired outcome. If we have a behavior we want to make easier and easier, then it's more likely to happen, like keeping our running shoes right where we can't miss them in the morning. Okay, so now that we're on to habit 4 and we're talking about exercise, just in terms of Ayurveda, it's important to remember the time of day and the clock that I have up in the group, that picture. And we're exercising in the morning, so after 6 a.m., so between 6 and 10 a.m., and that is during the kapha time of day. And the reason that's important is because that is the densest part of the day where you have the most energy and the most, like the heaviest concentration of energy. So if we exercise during that part of the day, we're actually going to be stronger and we're going to get less thrown off balance. So if we don't exercise during the strongest part of the day, then we don't have enough prana or enough energy during the other times of days, and we get more imbalanced. So that is, in terms of the Ayurvedic theory, why we want to exercise in the morning during that time of day where its energy is the heaviest. And the goal that we want to shoot for is 20 minutes a day. So it's really important that we do it before we have our breakfast. So we've already done our start the day right. We've woken up, we've taken a minute to meditate or connect with the universe or get into gratitude for our day. And then we've gotten up out of bed, we've had our water, we've hydrated, we've eliminated, we've gone to the bathroom, and now this is the time when most people go and have their breakfast after they do their shower. So this is what we want to start doing it right during this time before you do your shower and before you have your breakfast. We want to get our exercise in because our body's going to feel lighter. It's going to be easier to move, and we don't want to weigh it down with heavy foods like eggs and bacon and toast and all those things. So that's where we want to exercise right after we've had our water. And like I said, we want to aim for 20 minutes, but it's not going to be 20 minutes right off the bat if you haven't been exercising. We're going to start with small little increments just like we did with our bedtime and our dinner time, and we're going to start with just the smallest amount that you need to get started. So when I started doing this, I literally started with 1 minute. So my coach said, okay, we're going to start with 1 minute. Everybody can squeeze 1 minute into their morning, because my big thing wasn't that I didn't want to exercise. It was that I didn't think I had time in my morning to exercise because I had to get out the door on time, had to drop my daughter off at school and get ready and make sure she was ready and make sure she was fed. So I was just like, how am I going to squeeze in 20 minutes into my morning? It's already like kind of hard to get out of the door on time sometimes. So she said to me, okay, let's start with 1 minute. You can squeeze 1 minute into your morning. It's not going to really mess anything up. And I was like, yeah, that's true. So I said, well, what am I going to do for 1 minute? And she said, it really doesn't matter what you do. It just matters that you do something. So just do 1 minute of jumping jacks or 1 minute of sit-ups. Just set your timer for 1 minute on your phone. And then what if you do that for a whole week, and then by next week you move up to 2 minutes? I was like, okay, I could do that. That's pretty easy. So actually only did the 1 minute for like the first 2 days, and then I thought, well, I'm just going to move up to the 2 minutes. So I moved up to the 2 minutes, and I did that for a few days, and then I moved up to 5 minutes. I did that for about a week, and then I moved up to 10 minutes. And by about a month into it, maybe a little less than a month, I was up to 20 minutes a day. So one of the things that I started doing was waking up just a little bit earlier. I was just setting my alarm 15 minutes earlier in the morning so that I wasn't worried about that 20 minutes messing up my morning routine. So, sorry. So you can really pick whatever you feel like doing. In the beginning, it's easy to just pick something that's easy that you can do inside your home, so you don't have to leave, or you don't have to worry about, going out to the gym or anything like that. You can just do something that you can do right in your home. Like I would do jogging in place for 2 minutes, jumping jacks, stretching, like a 5 or 10 minute yoga sequence, just some sun salutations, just whatever I could think of. And then when I got up to 20 minutes, I started going for a walk around the block and things like that, because I realized that I really liked being outside and getting the fresh air. And one thing that I realized that I didn't like, and I still don't like, is actually going to a gym where there's a lot of other people working out, where it's all hot and sweaty and sometimes smells weird. I personally just don't like gyms, but if you love gyms, then that's awesome. But I would personally rather be outside in the fresh air or in my own home where I have my yoga mat and my own music and things like that. So if you're not sure what to do in terms of a workout, and those jogging in place and stretching and things like that get kind of boring after a few days or after a week or so, you can go on YouTube and look up 15-minute workouts, 20-minute workouts, 10-minute workouts. They have all different types of workouts that are free that you can find for all different amounts of time. There's also something called the Daily Burn, dailyburn.com, that has, I think, 10 and 20-minute workouts and 15-minute workouts. So those are things you can do to just find some more workouts. And I'm actually going to post a link in the group after the call that will give you access to what's called a student resources hub that Kate has put together for all of the different coaches to send the students to, that have different yoga sequences on there, for like a 10-minute yoga sequence, a 20-minute yoga sequence. So that's going to be available for you guys to go on and look at if you want to get some more different yoga workouts and different sequences like that. Okay, let's see. Let's move on here. So again, it doesn't matter what you're doing as long as you're doing 20 minutes of something when you get up to the 20 minutes. In the beginning, just pick something that you like. Pick something that you know you're going to like. Like, I've always been a runner up until I had a knee injury. So running in place for me is like really super easy, and it doesn't bother me to think of running. Some people hate running and would never want to run, not even running in place. So just think of something that you like that you can handle for a minute or 2 minutes or 5 minutes, and then just start with that. Because if you like it, you're going to be more inclined to do it and not hate every second of it. So that's, in the very beginning, this habit isn't ingrained in us yet, so it's not natural. It's not like we wake up and all of a sudden think, okay, great, I'm going to exercise before breakfast. So in the beginning, we're building this habit. That's why we want to make it something that we like. When it gets to the point that you're up to 10 or 20 minutes, you're going to be at the point where you actually enjoy it, because you're starting to feel the different changes that your body is having. Like, you might either be losing weight or gaining weight depending on what type of exercise you're doing. If you're doing weight training or something like that, you might be gaining weight because you want to gain weight and you want to gain muscle mass, and you're going to start feeling stronger, and that's how you want to feel. So you're going to really like it, and that's also going to help you want to do it and keep the habit going. Versus if you were trying to lose weight, you're going to do something a little bit more cardio, like jogging in place or jumping jacks or that kind of thing. And again, you're going to start feeling the changes in your body, the changes in your energy, and the changes in your breathing once you get to that point where you've been doing 10 minutes every day or 20 minutes every day. So the reason that we aim for 20 minutes is because that's when our metabolism starts to shift, and it starts getting into fat metabolism. So we start really burning fat, which is what we want to do, once we get into that 20-minute zone. And so that's what we're aiming for, because a lot of us are holding on to a lot of weight or some weight, and we don't need it, and we need to start burning that off. Okay, so let me move on to the different types of exercises. In the audio lesson, if you guys had a chance to listen to it, Kate is talking about Dr. Eric Grasser. He's an MD. You can look him up. I'll put a link to some of his stuff in the group. He talks about movement and just defines it into 3 different types. So there's the hardening, the softening, and the cardio. And then we also have 3 body types in Ayurveda. There's the Vata, the Pitta, and the Kapha. And then we have 3 different intensities of workouts that Kate talks about: easy, medium, and hard. So when we think about all of these different kind of options that we have, there's a lot of room for variation, and there's a lot of room for designing a really good workout schedule. Once we decide what it is that we want, are we trying to burn fat? Are we trying to build muscle? Are we trying to just tone up? And are we trying to just get in better shape because maybe we're getting winded after going up 1 flight of stairs? So depending on what our goal is, our individual goal for working out is going to really determine which exercise routines we choose. But what we really want to keep in mind is that we need a good balance between the different types of exercise and the different types of intensities. We also want to consider our body type. So hopefully everyone here has taken the dosha quiz and knows what their body type is. And if not, I'll put the link in the group so that you can take a short little quiz, and it just kind of tells you what types of foods are good for you, what types of exercises are good for you, and things like that. But just to sum it up in a few short sentences, the Vata type is usually someone that's underweight, they have a thin frame, they're a little bit more delicate, like they might get injured easily if they're working out too hard. A Pitta type is someone that is more muscular, someone that they get hot really easy. They have kind of a fiery personality, and they tend to like things like running, long distance running, marathons, things like that. And then the Kapha type is someone that has like a more dense body type, so they might be a little bit heavier. They might not really like to work out that much. They might call themselves lazy or a homebody, like they don't like to move around. They like to just be in their own little space. And each body type is really going to benefit from different types of exercises. So if you're a Vata, the more delicate body type, you also are delicate in your mind, so you might get stressed out easily, and you might feel cold a lot of the time. So you want to pick different types of exercise that are going to give you the qualities that you want to feel for the rest of the day. So for example, if you're someone that's Vata and you're always cold, you want to do something in the morning that's going to kind of warm you up, like warm up your body temperature. And that's the type that I am. So that's why I don't really mind jogging in place or like power walking, because that kind of gets my body temperature up and really makes me feel warm, and it lasts for a while. For a Kapha type, that's a little bit more denser. They're going to want to choose things that leave you feeling lighter, like there might be some jumping involved, like jumping jacks or something to get the breath moving and making you feel lighter. And for Pitta types, again, Pitta types are the muscular body types. They always like working out anyway, so it's not going to be hard for the Pitta types to do this habit. What's going to be harder for them is to not overdo it. So they tend to pick all the hard workouts, like the hardest weight training, kettlebells, running, like I said, running marathons, training for marathons, and they tend to overdo it, and so they sometimes tend to get injured because they just work out too hard. Okay, so going back to Dr. Grasser's 3 types of exercise, the softening exercises or the softening body practices are going to be types that are going to increase your flexibility, your sensitivity, and your prana or your energy. So these are going to be things like yoga, swimming, or different types of water sports. And this is going to feel like too easy for hardcore athletes like the Pitta types or marathon runners. They're going to think that this type of exercise is too easy for them, but they do need to have it to kind of balance out all the really hard exercises that they're doing. The hardening exercises or hardening practices are the strengthening ones. So this is really going to invigorate people. It's going to help them build muscle mass. It's going to help them feel stronger. So this is going to be weight training, kettlebells, and this is something that's important for everyone, especially women. And as we're getting older, a natural thing that happens is we start losing bone density and start getting osteoporosis and osteopenia as we get older. It's just a natural part of aging. So if we can start incorporating some of these hardening practices like weight training into our workout schedule, we're actually going to start improving our bone density and decreasing the risk for osteoporosis as we get older, just by adding 1 or 2 days a week of doing things like weight training. So that's just something to consider for the women, not to overdo it if you don't want to get really big muscles, but just to include a little bit of it into your routine. Okay, the cardio practices are obviously cardio in nature. They're going to increase your coordination, your oxygenation, and your circulation. So I'm sure everyone knows all kinds of examples of cardio, but things like running, aerobics, jumping on a trampoline, being on a treadmill, on an incline, all these kinds of cardio exercises are really great for your circulation. Actually, all 3 types of practices increase your circulation, but this one really increases it the most because it puts more of a load on your heart and gets your heart really pumping. Again, especially for the really hardcore athletes, make sure you have some easy workouts mixed into your routine because you don't want to work out too hard every day and you don't want to get injured. So just a short little review on the Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So for Vatas, they're going to need more softening and more easy exercises and some moderate exercises because they have the least endurance and they're the most delicate. They also get easily injured if they overdo it. For the Pitta types, they're very driven and they love hard workouts. So they're going to need some moderate to easy workouts and some cardio workouts, as well as some softening workouts. Because if you leave it to them, they're going to pick the hardening workouts every time. What happens when they pick hardening workouts every time, not only do they have a tendency to get injured by overdoing it, but they also get a high amount of inflammation in their body. So if you know someone that is working out all the time and they're complaining about having inflamed joints or just inflammation in their body, it could be that they're not working out properly. For the Kapha types, they're going to need some harder workouts, some cardio workouts, and the hardening workouts. So Kaphas love to do the easy, softening workouts because they really just don't really like to work out that much, but they have the strongest body. So if they did it, they would be really great at the hard and the cardio workouts. It's just they don't like to do it. So they have to kind of put it into their schedule and just start making it a habit, because just going by motivation or what they want to do is not going to work with them. They also need to include some stretching, because if they're just doing the hard workouts, they're going to get injured if they don't stretch. So another thing that I'm going to post in the group is a chart showing, like a grid showing these different workouts that Kate was describing in the lesson so that you can get a good idea of what she was talking about. In terms of designing your own workouts, she talks a lot about pulsation and having hard and then soft, hard and then soft, so that you can really get the benefits of your workouts. So we talked already about if you have too many hard workouts, you can tend to get injured. If you have too many soft workouts, then you're not really getting the benefits of it. So to be the healthiest you can be is to pulsate your workouts and to vary them and have a lot of variation in there. So an example of a pulsation in your workout schedule would be scheduling your exercises, like for 3 days in a row. It would be like an easy workout, another easy workout, and then a hard workout. And then easy, easy, hard, easy, easy, hard, something like that. So it's a cycle. We want to have little cycles in our exercise routines. Another important thing about movement with this habit is to pulsate your movement throughout the day, meaning don't sit for too long when you're at work. Make sure that you're not sitting for more than 90 minutes at a time, and getting up to take movement breaks. So if you're already used to doing this, sitting for long periods of time, 90 minutes would be the maximum, and then you want to get up and take a 5-minute break. If you're not used to doing this, you might want to do it in a more Kaizen way, which would be sitting for 30 minutes while you're working and then standing up and taking a 1-minute stretch break or a 1-minute movement break. And that's another way to get movement into your day. So all of our movement isn't going to be in the morning during that 20-minute session, but that's where we want to start. And then later throughout the day when we have a chance to get some more movement in, that's what we want to do. Kate gives some examples, different tips you can have around your environment to maximize your chances of doing these movement breaks, like keeping some little small weights nearby, or using ankle weights that you can put on while you're walking. She talks about having a little small indoor trampoline in your house. I don't have one yet, but I want to get one. When I was in college, I was a nanny, and the family that I lived with had one, and I used to love that little trampoline. So I think I need to get one. It's really cool to use it while you're watching TV or watching one of your favorite shows, a movie or something, and just sit there and do your 10 minutes or 20 minutes while you're watching it. A lot of people are also wearing the Fitbit now to monitor their exercise or monitor their steps. I personally don't like wearing the Fitbit. It just bothers me having it on my wrist. So I just use the health monitor that's on my iPhone. I think all the iPhones come with that. There's different apps you can download that will monitor your steps or your movement throughout the day. The only thing is you have to have your phone with you all the time. Most of us do have our phones with us most of the time, so it's pretty easy to use that. So I will just go on. Okay, so for this week, really the homework, the main work to do is to design your own breath body practices or your own exercise routine. In the accountability charts, which you guys can download, those little charts, I think there's 4 of them. There's like the meal plan, and then there's one for exercise. I'll upload it in the group in case someone doesn't have it. But start designing your own exercise routine for the week. And again, we want to start off with things that we already like to do so that it's easy to do it to start off with. You don't want anything to be boring or something that you hate. Think about if you like to be outside, if you like to be inside, if you need more cardio in your life, which I raise my hand to that one. If you need more stretching, do you feel like you need to be more flexible? Maybe you need to add some yoga or some stretching into your routine. Do you need to add some jumping to get some energy moving in your body? I like to do jumping jacks when I feel that. Do you need a buddy or an accountability partner? There's plenty of us in the group that would volunteer to be an accountability partner for anyone that's struggling with this habit. So again, I'll post an example of a weekly schedule. Your schedule should include some hard and some easy practices and maybe some medium ones. Mix it up. You can add things like running, jogging in place, walking, hiking. You can add different classes that you can find online like CrossFit and yoga, or maybe you already go to these classes at a gym or at a yoga studio. You can add weight training. For an easy workout, you can add stretching or foam rolling. I have a foam roller. I don't really use it enough, but I'm going to add that in as one of my easy workouts to really get my back stretched out. And the stretching and the foam rolling, you can add it at the beginning of a hardening practice. So if you're going to do some hard weight training, you could do maybe 5 minutes of stretching or foam rolling first, and then do 15 minutes of weight training. Again, accountability partners are very helpful with this habit. This is one of the habits that I needed to get an accountability partner with. We checked in with each other once a week, and some weeks I had to be honest with her and say, hey, I didn't do it for like 4 days straight. I know what happens for me. What throws me off track is when I travel because I'm not in my own environment. Like I said before, I like to work out in my own home or outside. So when I'm traveling and I'm at a hotel, I don't really like going to the hotel gyms. I've done it before. That's not really my favorite thing. Going for a walk outside when I'm traveling, if I'm on the beach or somewhere where I know there's an open space, that's cool. But if I'm at just like a regular hotel, I'm probably not going to go out and like venture out into the neighborhood and walk around the block. So for me, I always get thrown off when I travel. So I've been trying to be better about that and actually just do like a workout video in my hotel room. And so I'll go on, before my trip, I'll go on and I'll find some that I like and then I'll save them so that it'll be really easy for me to just turn that on. Remember this week to step away from your computer and your desk every 90 minutes or every 30 minutes and take a 1 minute or a 5 minute movement break or stretching break. And one last thing, what helps some people with this habit is doing a visualization. So you can do a visualization before going to bed, and that's another good trigger for getting up in the morning and doing your workout. So some people will visualize going running when they get up in the morning, and they'll just do that right before they go to bed.